right. My people, come on into the spot. What is up, everybody, man? We in here live and direct. This is my first live, yo. It's my first live on YouTube. And yeah, we want it to be very dope, very cool. And so I'm glad to have you here with me for this experience. If you got friends, let them know what's good. Because we about to start. We about to get it going, man. I know this is the first one. And so, yeah. Make sure y'all be in the comments, man. Come through in the comments. Make sure we can talk. Right? Hey. We're going to talk about this film, baby. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, y'all. We'll see how it goes. This is the first one. The first one. All right. But yeah, man. For those of y'all that don't know, I go by the name Don D's. This is my YouTube page. And I love movies. I love film. What's up? What up, Phyllis? How we doing, sis? Good to see you in the spot. Good to see you in the place, man. We about to get this combo going. And yeah. We live and direct, baby. We live and direct. I'll give a few minutes for folks to come on in. I just kind of told everybody about this. I just planned it last night. So this will be the first one of these. We'll do more in the future, but this is the first one. This is a dope movie. And yeah, man, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Yeah, just posting it out there for the folks, for the fam. Let your people know what's good. Everything is a-okay. All right. Thank you. And yeah, man, we about to get into this discussion. We about to get into this discussion here. All right, Judas and the Black Messiah. Judas and the Black Messiah, man. I really like this movie, man. I really like this movie. This joint is pretty dope. I'm gonna tell y'all what I think are some of the dopest parts of the movie, some of the greatest things. I'm gonna give it a little review ski. Tell you what I like, and then at the end, I'm gonna give you a rating. Okay, I'm gonna give you a rating. I'm gonna let you know how it goes, and hopefully in the comments, whether you're seeing it now or you're checking it out later, however it goes. Yeah, I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you think of this joint. Okay. So let us get it started. First of all, have y'all seen the movie? If have you seen the movie? If you've seen the movie, hit me with the thumbs up. Let me know you've seen it. All right, because I want to know what y'all thought. I'll tell you what I thought. That's what the whole thing gonna be about. But I want to know your thoughts, folks. I want to know what you think of this joint, baby. Um, yes, yes. Did you think it was good? Did you think it was thumbs up, thumbs down? Um, what did you like? What was like one thing that you thought, oh, dude, because of this joint right here, I love this movie. I'm gonna tell you right straight up, straight off the bat, I love this movie from when I saw the first trailer ever. The first trailer I ever saw this movie was Fred Hampton in the little door creak window, and he's like, Fred Hampton, Deputy Chairman of the Black Panther Party. And like the weird way he was talking, I was like, ooh, this is saucy right here. I like this joint. I was thinking the whole time, how could he do this to yeah, man. Yeah, man. This freaking informant dude. What's up, man? What's good? What's good? Action pops in the house. Yeah, I know he was thinking about that, man. That was crazy. Like, how do you do this? Laco, the god of chaos. Ah, you didn't see it. Okay. Well, this will be a good discussion, and maybe afterwards you feel like I want to go check it out. I want to go check it out. Okay. Well, let's get into it, man. Let's get into this. One of the first things that I thought was kind of cool about the film. What's up, Toya? Toya? Yeah. Oh, that's my. Hey, what's up, Toya? How you doing? Good to see you in here. Um, yeah, man. So I'm asking everybody, and you just say your comments throughout the thing, but trying to find out if you saw the movie. Did you like the movie? If you liked the movie, what was one cool thing that you liked about it? Oh, Kim. Oh, oh, Kim. Okay, I saw that. That's an interesting name. Uh, got you. Okay, okay, Kim. Hey, what's good? What's going on? All right, good to know. Yeah, that's an interesting name. I don't know what Lakal of the God of Chaos means. All right, but we're talking about the movie. You may know the real situation. Fred Hampton, of course, was deputy chairman of the Black Panther Party for the Illinois chapter. And this movie, Judas and the Black Messiah, was about the man, William, or Bill, as they call him, William Bill, the O'Neill, who was an FBI informant that infiltrated the party and ultimately helped them to kill, assassinate, murder the leader at the time, Fred Hampton. So we're going to get into some stuff about the movie that's cool. If you haven't seen the movie, maybe after this discussion, you'll be like, oh, I got to go check that out. If you have seen the movie, then you might be like, oh yeah, that was dope, dude. I love this. This is awesome. This is really cool. And I agree with you. Or you might be like, nah, man, I don't agree with that take on it. Have another take. I disagree. All right. So all of those things are in there. And yeah, I want to know your thoughts. Oh man, I've got something in my eyes here. Yeah. So we're gonna get into it, man. One of the first things that I thought was super dope about this movie is the opening music. See, I be listening to stuff and I like it like from the get-go. All right. The opening music already, it had that like looming stuff. It was like this sort of weird looming terror type music, but it was cool because it was like it definitely felt like a Judas is about to betray the Messiah type of music, but it was like a modern version of it. It was like a modern version of it where it's like, okay, this is like modern failings. And it made me think, it made me think like, listen, oh man, getting a notification there. It made me think, dude, the failings of human beings happen all the time, man. It's not just something that happens once in a while. It happens all the time throughout the span of time, from the real Judas to this dude Bill, who's the Judas of his time. All these things happen, man. One thing that was really, really dope about this movie, and I'll tell you a lot. But one thing that I thought was really, really dope about this movie is that you get the perspective of the story from the blacks, from the blacks themselves, right? When black people tell our own story, you get a better story, right? At least when it pertains to us. Like the way this movie starts out, you got Angela Davis talking about how the Black Panthers, why they started their armed patrols to help with the police against their police brutality. So they were there to protect the people from that. Then you got Huey Newton following and telling him how, what they, I guess what they used to do is they would tailgate the cops whenever they would arrest somebody, and they would go and bail them out right away. So you had that. You saw maps of all the parties that were established across the United States. They were talking about the programs, the way that they served the people, whether it was health, education, civil liberties, all those kind of things. And that takes up like the whole first maybe 8-10 minutes of the movie, right? And that was cool because, as the director said, Shaka King, if you don't know, that was the director's name, was Shaka King. When he was talking about this, they wanted to start the movie with this FBI informant debrief type, or not FBI, this FBI debrief. It's like this big auditorium with all the FBI agents, and it's like a real dark situation. And they wanted to talk about how they were the threat and all this stuff. But Shaka King, the director, said, "Nah, man, I'm not going to start this movie out like that. We're going to start the movie out with the Panthers talking about themselves." And that alone was just super dope, because it's like you're getting the real people. It wasn't the actors, it was actual footage of Panther members telling about their story. So I thought that was super, super dope. Another thing that you get with these black stories, and when you got people telling when the filmmakers are black and they're telling these stories, you get a lot of education, man. There was so much education in this film, told through that smooth lens of the stories and interviews and things like that. They tell you how to kind of like I don't know, basically like exegete society in a sense. Like, how do you interpret society that's as good as you can? Let me see what y'all are saying up in here. Hi, I'll say hi. I'll say hi to Sean for you. Okay. Um, I don't know what that says. Okay. Anyhow, I have to CYA. Oh, see ya. I have to see ya. Okay. See you later, man. All right. So anyway, yeah, getting back to it, y'all. Getting back to it, y'all. Yeah, I like this. I like the fact that they had all these cool sayings, these cool excerpts from speeches, all of these different things that came out throughout the story. A lot of things. One of the things that I really thought that stood out, when Fred is talking, he's talking about this situation where he's in jail. He gets put in jail, and he's reflecting on this speech from Martin Luther King, which says, "Let us not wallow in the valley of despair." And he says, we're definitely in the valley, talking about the situations. We're definitely in the valley. He says, but I don't see it as despair. I see it as ground zero to the revolution, man. And that right there was what I call a bar. All right. Three flames bar. So I love that aspect of what we're talking about here, man. This just, when you get black people telling the black story, you're gonna get the blackness. You're gonna get the real. We're gonna tell you the good stuff about us. We're not gonna tell you all the trash parts about us. So I don't know about you guys, but those of you that saw the story, what are some of the first things that stuck out about the film for you? Because I got a few themes and things I want to talk about here, but I want to know from y'all as well what stuck out to you. What are the things that y'all are like, yo, man, this part of the movie was really dope? Or even if you only saw the trailer, or maybe even just like some clips on YouTube, what were some of the things from that you were like, oh man, I got to see this movie, or this makes me want to think about this movie? While you're thinking about that, let me tell you some more of the dope stuff that I liked in here. I loved how messages were portrayed. A lot of times they would take the messages and they would slip them through like 3 or 4 different scenes at a time. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you took all the dialogue out of those scenes and you put it together, then you would get this really dope idea that came through. And the reason I like that is because You have, for example, Fred Hampton in the classroom and he starts talking about one thing. Then you got to cut to another scene where Fred Hampton is out on the streets and he's talking to this lady about the Black Panther Party. Then you cut to another scene where they're feeding the kids breakfast. And while they're feeding the kids breakfast, he's kind of giving them some knowledge, just dropping dimes on them, dropping knowledge bombs on them, all things like that, right? But all of those things, actually, if you were to take the actual script, all the dialogue, you could turn that into a cohesive paragraph that actually made some dope-alicious sense. And was a good thought, a good idea for us to think about, man. And I like that because that's the way we learn in life, right? We don't just learn by reading a book. We don't just learn by getting a lecture from somebody in a class or whatever. We learn from all kinds of different ways. We learn through having an experience in our life, man. You know, I mean, I know times that I've been with the police and those experiences have made me think one thing about the police. Then I'll read something in a book. Then I'll see a news clip. All of those things help to shape and form. And I like that because this movie sort of did that with the various messaging that they had through there. All right. So I really like that, how they communicated messages. I thought that was really good. I thought it was also interesting how they portrayed white people, man. It's interesting that they didn't just have them the one way, right? They've got, of course, the obvious, like the oppressive white male power authority type situation going on, but they also had this FBI agent, and he was kind of like nice, but he was still evil. He was like an evil, nice, evil guy. Yeah, the portrayal of the whites was quite interesting because you got the evil ones, but then you had the nice ones that you were like, oh, interesting. Can this dude is evil, but I still wouldn't mind having lunch with him. And then you got the ones that are just as bad off as the rest of us, and you're like, man, can I trust those guys? I don't know, but we're in the same struggle. Perhaps this will work in our favor. We'll see. All right, so that was a cool part about it as well. Then my favorite thing, man, favorite thing was the portrayal of the Black experience. Okay, there were so many different things to talk about in there. You got Bill O'Neill's situation. He's like a criminal, and he gets caught, and then he gets caught up in the thing in becoming an informant because he has no other choice. But then you got the Black Panther Party struggle. Then you got the regular people. You got this whole scope of all these different people, and they represent all the different parts of society, right? It's not simply just one thing. Like when a lot of times people will say, oh, Black people, y'all are all the same, or they try to categorize us and put us into one particular thing. But movies like this help us to see, no, we're not just one thing. We have all the different diversity that you find in the United States itself. Let's see, what's Trisha saying? Yeah, it was a really great movie. Well thought out, executed, made me want to learn more about the whole story. Yeah, what was really cool about this is the director, Shaka King, man, he was saying, I don't even know if the Fred Hampton story would be able to be told otherwise. Like, Ryan Coogler, we all know, is the director of Black Panther, and a lot of the other execs, even in Warner Brothers, the one company that actually helped them distribute the film. If they didn't have Black people in those spaces and places, they didn't even know if they would be able to get this story out. But it worked out, and they were able to get it out. So we got to see all this cool dopeness, man. Another thing that I really liked about the film was there was this scene in there where Fred Hampton is talking to these college students, and you see like the array of all the people, man. Like you got the girls with the braids, you got the girls with the fros, you got the nerdy dudes, you got the clean cut dudes, you got the dashiki dudes with African medallions on. You get to see Blackness on its full scale, man. And that was really, really, really an awesome part of the film to see. One of the scenes that stood out for me, I thought it was really poignant to help us think, was this scene where they had a shootout. Okay, there was a shootout at the Black Panther headquarters, And without giving too much away for those that may have seen it or not, um, here's what was interesting about that scene. In this shootout, it takes place in broad daylight. Okay, takes place in broad daylight. You got the cops putting a barricade against the community so they can't move. You got all this line of cops lining the street. They've been harassing the people for like 3, 4 days straight, just persistent with the harassment. And they're not only did they harass, right, as in like stand in front of there and be a menacing presence, but in the scene you see this cop dude, he's like on his bullhorn and this lady's going by and he's calling her Aunt Jemima. He's talking about how he likes the pancakes and all this stuff, and they've been doing this throughout the community. And they say you can be they said to them, you can be thankful to the Black Panther Party for our extended and increased presence among you. That's the thing that's so outrageous about this, right? With the oppressors, with the white people against the black community. This is what is so outrageous about it, because they will persistently attack, persistently antagonize, persistently mock and egg you on, and then at the end be justified when they kill you. What happened in there? There was a shootout, and of course, the cops had way more firepower than the rest of the than the folks in the Black Panther headquarters. So when they are all out of ammo, they finally go and they're like, "All right, we surrender." They bring them out. While they're bringing them out, they're still beating on them, and you got all the rest of the people in the community just sitting there, right? They're just sitting there, nothing they can do about it. If they were to jump over the police barricade and try to help, they would have gotten beat, they would have gotten shot, they probably would have gotten killed as well. And what this scene said to me is, this is society, man. This is actually America right now, today, right? We have this in our society. If you think about it, you think about police brutality, you think about systematic racism, right? That it's like baked into the fabric of American society, right? This is the stuff that really happens. And what I'm wondering, what I want to know, when you'll see this, did you, what kind of thoughts came to your mind? For those of you that saw the movie, what kind of thoughts come to your mind as you see this shootout? What are the things that go to your mind? Were you angry? Were you angry about it? Let's see if anybody got any thoughts in the comments there. While you're thinking about that, if you're thinking of what to say, um, what I learned from this is that ignorance has an evil, right? She said, yes, it made me sick, Trisha, right? Sick and mad. And you can imagine that, man, if that was your everyday life. Um, Fred Hampton's wife or girlfriend or lover in the story, her name was Deborah, and she was pregnant at the time that this is happening. She's pregnant at the time that this is happening. So she's dealing with her own pregnancy while she's trying to be in the struggle and and look at everything that they have worked for being completely destroyed. um the thing that really made me mad is that they go in there. Let's see, what are you saying? Yeah, it was so mad that one portraying yeah, Judas out eating steak and stuff, getting paid. Oh, you're getting mad now, right? And yeah, getting paid to have Fred killed. I was so angry. Yeah, and I love the role of Fred's woman. Yeah, Deborah, man. She held him down. It was a really great movie. I was sad he died when he died. Yeah, man, it was really, really sad when he died, man. It was terrible. Um in this scene where the shootout happens, the way it ends is that the police actually, and this is not a spoiler alert or anything, this was in the news. They actually bombed. They actually set the headquarters on fire. And what really sucked about that, man, is you see them and they're like running out of the building like some scared little kids off of some danger that they set up. Crazy. Crazy, but this is the situation that we find ourselves in. This is a situation that we find ourselves in. Um, Let me share with you another thing that I liked about the movie. Another thing that I really liked about the movie was the portrayal of women. Even from the very beginning, the party line, how they talked about their policies towards their women, their sisters in there. They said, you know, do not take liberties with the women because they're not just your sisters; they're your sisters in arms. I liked how they had a lot of diversity in the women. They had some younger women, older women. They had some women that were more like soft and gentle. They had some women whose whose characters were more aggressive, more take charge about the situation. One scene that I really liked when the shootout started was between Judy, who was one of the major leaders of the party in that chapter, and Deborah, who was Fred's lover. And when the shootout was about to start, she actually took the time to take her to the side, and they had like a gentle conversation where she was like, "Hey, I know that you're having a hard time. You're missing your man, and I know you're pregnant, and you know I just want to take care of you as my sister." So she escorted her out, and then she kindly cocked that gun and started firing off. Man, that is that is the dopeness of black women right there. Let me tell you, man. They got all the sides of all the magic going on right there. They can be soft and gentle in one moment, and they can be a boss in the next. And I loved how this film portrayed that. Even with there's a scene in there where Fred Hampton goes and visits the mother of one of his, as they call him, the comrades, right? One of his brothers who had been killed, a young dude. And the mother, she was still very motherly, but she still was able to be vulnerable and cry there with Fred, yet still be strong enough to say, I want my son's legacy to be a positive and good one, and you make sure that happens. I just loved all of that. Trisha says, right, you saw her softness and how fierce she could be. That's right. That's right, man. I love that. And that's one of the awesome things, man. It's sad because it's not always out of just a natural state of being. It's coming because, listen, there are all kinds of oppressive things that happen in our lives. And as the women, as the mothers, as the nurturers of these families, of our Black families, our women have to be very strong, even beyond just the natural existence of life. It's like you have to be strong in the face of oppression. You have to be strong in the face of attacks and hostility on your life. It's not just simply you living your life and trying to take care of your family, but you got this extra added weight that you're putting on yourself. And I thought the movie was very good at portraying that balance and all of those different ranges between the women. So, my Black women, my beautiful queens, I know this is true in real life, just as it was true in the movie, man. Y'all are the best. We love you. All right. Another thing that was really dope about this, and you guys in the comments, let me know, even as we're talking, man. I want to know, you know, what were your thoughts on how the women were portrayed? Did you think they were pretty good with that? Did you wish that they would have seen, that you could have seen more, that you could have seen something different with it? Or were you like, nah, dude, that was pretty good. I quite appreciate it. Yeah, the many facets we Black women possess. Yep. I know you do it well. There's things about it I don't even know. So I just want you to know that you are appreciated, that you are loved and celebrated, man. If don't no other Black men tell you, I'm gonna tell you right now, Black women, you are the dopest. You are awesome. You are, I mean, you know, you're the best. And I thought this was a good example. Another thing that was really cool was the perspective on Black love. All right. I don't know if a lot of people would pick this up in the film. Maybe, I mean, you know, black folks, we're gonna pick it up. But what I really appreciated was this idea of love that was actually a connection from the struggle. Like Deborah and Fred Hampton, their love came from the struggle, right? They met each other at a rally speech, trying to get people to join the struggle for the people. Um, they they were both all about freedom. They both wanted to get their people out of oppression, and they started talking about speeches and ideas and thoughts, and that was the thing that brought their love together. What was really cool is that in the film, if you think back about it, or if you're gonna go see it, um, there are three bed scenes, but all the bed scenes, none of them had anything to do with sex or anything like that. It was literally a space where they lived out their love. So like the first one, they had this kind of cute moment where they were talking about she says, Fred, your feet are cold, right? And he puts his feet on her, and she's like, dude, why are you putting your feet on me? He's like, because if my feet are cold, your feet are cold. Socialism. And then he said, like, you can't hog up all the heat. And she's like, so are you calling me a foot capitalist? So it's funny. I mean, like, even in their just regular life, you got those cute little allusions back to the struggle, to the plight of the people. The second bed scene is them just sitting in the bed, and they're talking about what this revolution means to their life as they're about to bring a baby into the world. And she shares with him this awesome poem. Oh my goodness, the poem is so great. It's like really it just captures like the ideas of the struggle and her life as a woman, and her strength being a mother. It's super dope. You got to see that. And then even in the last bed scene, which is the scene where Fred is killed, even in that scene, you see the love. Like, I mean, bullets are flying every which way. Fred is asleep, and she is on top of him. She's pregnant. She's on top of him, covering him, trying to make sure that he doesn't, doing everything she can to protect her. I thought that was just beautiful, man. I mean, even in the midst of chaos, she still is doing that protection, man. That was just a great. That's how Black love should be, man. That's how all love should be, right? Um, but it's about supporting each other. It's about supporting people and loving them, right? In all types of situations. Everything. A lot of these movies you'll see, the love relationships are so like over sexualized, or they only focus on the romantic part in like in kind of like a love and physical kind of way. But this one, three bed scenes, none of them had anything to do with sex, any of that. It was all just love and life together. So I thought that was a great expression of Black love. I don't know what you tell me what you guys think. That's how my love for Joe is. Oh, that's how I love Joe. You got the real one, bro. You got the real one, Joe. I think my wife is like that too. She's not Black, but I think our love is the same way. I think she would die for me, and I know that I would die for her. So yeah, man, that's just how love should be. Um, yes, yes, absolutely. I wanna touch on a couple like little themes, and then just a few more things, and we're gonna wrap this one up today. All right. Couple little things, man. There were just some stuff that was said in there that was just straight bars. I mean, I just love the way it was said. One of the first things that was said in there, I was like, ooh, I need to go like put that on a shirt or something. Was when they were talking about war and politics. I don't know if you guys remember this line. It says, war is politics with bloodshed, and politics is war without bloodshed. Ain't that the truth? You feel me? I'm telling you right now, man. If you look at and you've seen a mix of it, man. January 6th, that insurrection, that was a mix, right? Them people thought they were going to war, and it was over a political lie. I mean, it's crazy. That's how rough and tough and entangled these things are, man. So I loved that, because it was just a really true statement. Another one of those phrases like that is at the beginning where you have Bobby Seale. He was talking about the difference between riots and rebellion. He says, people are rebelling because of conditions and not because of not because of individuals. He's pointing to rebellions being created out of conditions, out of systems and systematic, sets of oppression. That was in and of itself just the truth that we experience in life, in all aspects of our life. Those that are oppressed, we rebel, we resist, we protest because the conditions are not what they should be. Let's see what it said. Going back to strength, though I didn't see the movie. Yeah, going back to strength, right? Right. You have to be strong in the face of gaslighting. Oh, speak on it. People will try to make you think that underlying mess is not really happening, but you're sharp enough to recognize and mature enough to persevere. That's right, man. That's something that, man, listen. So there's a scene where they have this raid, and the informant dude, Bill O'Neill, and he's like, we got a rat. And he's like, think about it. They took this, they took that, and he's going off on this rant about a rat. And one of the other comrades is like, bro, stop thinking like that. That's what the pigs want you to think. But that's the crazy part about the oppressor, right? That's the crazy part about the oppressor. They will do crazy things and then try to have you think that you're crazy for thinking they did the thing that they did. That's the craziness of the situation, right? Good example of that. The if you know about South Africa and the reconciliation was Truth and Reconciliation Council. That whole thing was to allow the people who had been civilly oppressed, harassed, terrorized during apartheid to express their feelings, to express the hurt and the pain that they felt, right? And to get that out in the open, get it on the record. The other side of that is that those who did the crimes, those who actually did the civil violations, the human rights violations, they could confess, they could testify to what they did, and then request for amnesty from civil and criminal charges to be pressed against them, and for them to have to serve sentences and whatever the penalties for those things would be. Now, some people argued, what's the point of that? Why do you want to do that? Why do you just want to sit there and be angry and hear this person like talk about all the evil and bad things that they did and then just let them go? Well, Trevor Noah talked about that. If y'all ever see this Breakfast Club interview that he did, Trevor Noah said the purpose for that is so that the people who experienced all that oppression, they could know that they were not crazy. They're like, I knew this happened. And y'all were up here trying to tell me that this didn't happen. That's like those people that try to say, what is it? Why am I drawing a blank now? The whole the genocide of the Jews, the Holocaust. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, they're like, the Holocaust didn't happen. Like, bro, how are you going to tell me the Holocaust? Something there's people that try to say slavery didn't happen, or that slavery is a choice, or that there's not systemic racism in society today. Man, these things happen. They are real. They are true. And yeah, that's the craziness with the gaslighting and all of that stuff, man. We have to be sharp in our mind. We have to recognize and call things out. But we rise against it, right? We don't just sit there and make excuses about it. Yeah, validation. Exactly, Dion. That's what it is, man. It's a validation. I am not crazy. This did happen. You are not going to tell me that this was nonsense because it was true. And you see that because in this film, you're seeing both sides of that situation. I love how they use the term culture in this movie, man. It was so good. Fred Hampton has a speech where he goes and he's talking to these poor, disenfranchised whites, man. You got to, that scene was interesting, man. That was interesting, right? So he goes and he talks to these poor, disenfranchised whites. They when you call them like the kind of like trailer park people or whatnot. And he has a speech and he talks to them about water and escape. He says, water is everyone's culture in a house on fire. And then he points out that America is on fire and our collective culture should be water and escape. Ooh, bars right there. Bars right there, right? Because the culture ended up being unity, right? Fred Hampton, he united the Panthers with this black gang called the African American gang called the Crowns. This I think it was, I don't know, it was Puerto Rican or Cubans, Latinx folks, the Young Lords, and then these poor disenfranchised white groups called the Young Patriots, and they all came together as one unit, man. Now listen, that kind of unity, that kind of unity, that is what is up. That is what it is all about, man. So I loved seeing that. I love that idea of saying, look, our collective culture is freedom. Our collective culture is to rise up. We are the people and we are going to struggle. So I loved how, even though this was a black story and you had the experience mainly from the black perspective, there was still this element. And this is true about black society, man. We are not only about ourselves. We are proud for ourselves because for so long we have been pushed down and talked down about. So we have to be extra and overly aggressive about how good we are. We have to big ourselves up. But in addition to that, we still care for other people. We still care about the oppression of other groups because we know what that is like. And we have experienced it and we know that's wrong and that we need to stand up for everybody who is oppressed. And I love how this film brought that out as well. One thing that was kind of like a warning in here, there was a character named Jake. And Jake was kind of like a symbol of what happens when like you allow oppression to corrupt your heart, right? Because Jake was like, he was this cool dude. He was a young guy. He was really energetic about the struggle, very innocent. But when he lost his buddy, and when that situation happened, he turned hard to the point where it became self-destructive. And I won't tell you how. You got to check out the movie. Yeah, that's right, Trisha. The Rainbow Coalition, the Young Patriots, and the Young Lords, and all of that. But this guy, man, yeah, he really had a difficult situation because he allowed the oppression to take over him. The Panthers had this phrase that they kept using every time somebody would get angry or like get overly just kind of like frustrated about something and they would lash out. They said, use discipline, show your discipline. Where's your discipline? Right? And discipline is not to say right, lost his buddy and lost his mind. Yep, exactly, that's what happened, man. So this whole idea of discipline was to try to help people to say, listen, man, if you are in a tough situation, if you're facing this difficulty, you can't let that crack you and break you. You've got to be able to still control yourself. You've got to be able to, it doesn't mean that you don't have your anger. It doesn't mean that you don't have your rage. It means that you are able to control it. I mean, it makes me start thinking about like, the Hulk and how he had to control his rage and things like that. But that was this thing that they talked about. And then, of course, there's all the stuff where the feds are trying to say, that the Panthers are like the KKK. I mean, that happens very much in politics today. We see where this whole idea about whataboutism, well, that they like where they try to say the insurrectionists and the people who were protesting this summer, where they're trying to equate them and what they were doing. Nah, man, that is not the same thing. All right. And to the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover and all y'all, it was the KKK and the Panthers were not the same thing. Some people still try to hold on to that rhetoric even to this day. It's ridiculous. One was doing programs to serve the community, and the other one was taking members of the community and killing them. So one's protecting and serving the community, the other is killing members of the community. All right, not the same at all. So that was really interesting. Couple last things, and then I'm gonna get to my rating of the film here. Okay. I want to take a second and talk about this dude, William O'Neill. I remember Phyllis saying, "Yo, how could this dude do that?" Right? When I was asking, like, what are your initial thoughts on the film? How could this dude do that? Boy, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Here's my kind of like, I don't know, I get thesis, or I don't know. Here's the point that I get from the life of him, and tell me if you agree. If you agree, thumbs up. If you think something different, let me know. Let me know. But I think this guy William O'Neill, the guy who was the informant, I feel like this was the lesson I get from him. Trouble leads to more trouble and bigger trouble, right? I mean, he spent all his time working so hard doing crimes to get what he wanted, only to find himself in worse trouble, in more situations, right? He was only 17 when the FBI got him to be an insurgent. Isn't that crazy, man? All of these people are super young. I mean, Fred Hampton, the guy who was the spokesman, the leader, was 21, right? So, I'm sure that youth played a part in all of this. Um, but we can use these lessons for us and for ourselves today. The whole thing, man. This guy, this informant dude, maybe partly because of his age, he started to develop this relationship with this agent Mitchell, the guy who was the FBI agent that was getting him to give the intel and everything. And he said he even looked at him as a mentor. He listed Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and then for himself this FBI agent. And there's a scene in there that really tells what goes on. You feel me? Now, here's the thing, man. I had a person when I was younger that told me this, and I didn't want to believe it, but I know that there is truth to it. They says, listen, you can deal with people that are other than your race, but when it really comes down to it, they are not going to pick you over their own people. And when it comes to ideas of power, nobody is going to pick your interest over their own interest. There's a book called Faces at the Bottom of the Well. Excellent book. The thesis of that book is that racism is a permanent part of American society. And one of the points the author makes is that white people will only help you out when it benefits them, because their goal is not really to help you out. Their goal is to benefit themselves. And of course, this is talking about white people as a whole society. It's not every individual white person is like that. We always got to say that to make sure it's clear that we're not hating white people. But this is the systemic position, right? The leaders of powers, authority, government, all of that only helps you when it benefits them. And you see that in here because there's a scene where they're actually where the agent is like, all right, we about to get to this murder. Here's your part that you're going to play in it. I need you to draw up these blueprints to Hampton's apartment, right? So we can know how to get in there and do it. And at that point, O'Neill's like, wait, what? Nah, man, come on. I mean, he's going to jail. He flips on him, man. He's like, listen, remember, you're an informant. You know what they did to the other informant and how they tortured and killed him. You want that same thing to happen to you? Imagine what would happen if we sent pictures of that and then we let them know that their own security officer is an informant. You see how he just flipped on him like that, got what he wanted from him and he could do nothing about it. He was frustrated, he could do nothing about it. Right? Once that agent got what he wanted and they killed Hampton towards the end of the movie, man, he went right back to being nice. Right back to being nice. It is amazingly sad and frustrating to know that those in power will just simply use you. And that is the reality. They will use you as much as benefits them, and then they will throw you out, throw you under the bus, all of that stuff. So I thought that was very telling of the situation. What do you say, Trisha? Right? They know how to mentally torment people, right? And you see that, man. You see that in this film a lot. And I like that they portrayed it like that, man, because you got to know what the reality of the situation is. Fred Hampton's story, I always wonder if he actually lost himself or not. Or if he realized, yeah, I'm a hypocrite. I know what I'm doing the whole time, or if he actually kind of started to believe, and then he would go back and forth, and he's like, well, I'm in the situation, I got to do it. That's the thing that happens when we get ourselves into situations that cause trouble. It's just more trouble and bigger trouble and more torment. So yeah, let's use that as a motivation for ourselves. All right. Last two things, and then I'm gonna give my rating here. Fred Hampton's speech. He gave this awesome speech at his last speech. And he starts it by saying, "I'm free." I love that because he says this in the midst of a time where he is like on parole from jail, about to go back into jail, still fighting the oppression that he sees each and every day. But he's able to confidently say, "I'm free," because his freedom was about what was going on up here, right? He talks about he says this phrase. I'm gonna tell you, he had so many bars in this speech. The first one that he said that I love was, "They can never stop the power. They can't never stop the power unless they stop the people." Bars right there. Then he starts talking about the people's beat, right? And they start playing these drums. Oh, it's a dope scene. And he says this things like, "You can murder a liberator, you can murder a liberator, but you can't murder a liberation. You can murder a revolutionary, but you can't murder a revolution. You can murder a freedom fighter, but you can't murder freedom." I need to get that as a ringtone or something, right? Because that right there, that's bars on bars on bars on bars on bars. That's what it's about, man. It's about the spirit. You could murder an individual, but you can't stop the movement. You can't stop it. And then he talks about his own life, right? He says, "I don't believe I'm gonna die in a car crash. I don't believe I'm gonna die slipping on ice. I don't believe I'm gonna die because I got a bad heart." He says, "I believe I'm gonna die doing what I was born for. I believe." He says, "I believe I'm gonna die high off the people. I'm gonna die for the people because I love the people. I live." No, he says, "I'm gonna die for the people because I live for the people. I live for the people because I love the people." Man, that's awesome, man. If you can have that type of conviction in your life, bro, that's what it's all about, right? So for all those reasons, I really, really, really appreciate this movie. Really dope, really awesome. Love what they had to say. The cast, amazing, amazing cast. Yeah, bait and switch, right? Bait and switch. Um, the cast of this film was amazing. Who was those of you that saw the movie? Who was your favorite character? If you could, if you could pick a favorite, there were three people that I thought really did a great performance. Of course, Daniel Kaluuya killed it, but he's not one of the three that I thought stood out for me. Three that I thought stood out for me were the Bill O'Neill character, the informant. His name Lakeith Stanfield. I loved it, man. I could track all his emotions, like from not caring at all to moments where he was caring to having like this sense of ambiguity, like I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just doing it. I think he nailed it, man. I think he nailed it. The other one that stood out to me really good was the FBI agent, Agent Mitchell. His a dude named Jesse Plemons. I think I saw him. I think he was in Friday Night Lights. I think that's where I remember seeing him from. I think when he was younger. But he did a really good job of portraying that like sad, enraging position of oppression, right? Like that whiteness that it's kind, but it's evil. It's almost like worse than the evil bad person, right? It's like this guy is nice, but he's still evil. Fred and his lady, yes, okay. I heard he I heard he had to get therapy after making that movie. Kaluuya, or who had to get therapy? Let me know. Let me know. Um, my third, my third person that stood out to me was Fred's lady, Deborah. Fred's lady Deborah, man. Whoo! Her name is Dominique Fishback. She killed that role. She killed that role. Okay. Oh, the Judas. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lakeith Stanfield. Okay. He had to get therapy after. Yeah, that was a tough role, man. And if he went deep into it, yeah. But dude, let me tell you, my favorite, my favorite character was Deborah. Um, Deborah, her name was Deborah Johnson in the movie. Her real name, Dominique Fishback. She was Fred Hampton's love interest. Man, she killed that. Man, she had this great balance, right? She had this great balance of being soft, being strong-willed, being showing personal worry and sorrow, but being extremely like down for the cause. She was my favorite, man. She was the best. So if you haven't seen that movie, look out to see who your favorite is. Definitely Fred Hampton's lady, Deborah, my favorite character in the movie, man. She killed it, right? Those three for you too, Trisha. Yeah, Keisha, she did that, right? I'm telling you, man, she killed. Oh my goodness, man. Um, any movie she's in, I'm gonna watch it off the strength because yo, she killed that. She killed that. All right. So those are my things. I want to give you my final takeaway here, and then we're gonna rate it and we're gonna get out of here. All right. The director, Shaka King, he had this to say on his Breakfast Club interview. He says, at the end of the day, both Fred Hampton and William O'Neill desired the same thing. They desired freedom and power, but they had different definitions of what those things were, and they had different ways of going about attaining them. I love that because it talks about how they both were striving to get something that they wanted. What I liked about it is that at the beginning of the movie, that where they have this interview, the Eyes on the Prize interview, the interview says to Bill O'Neill, looking back, what would you tell your son about what you did then? And to me, that puts forth this question: how do you interpret your story? If we look at our own life and how we live our own life, how do we interpret our story? For me, that's going to guide how I live my life. Um, yeah, it's going to guide how I live my life. What I loved about both of these guys, and this the driving force in the story is that this is about somebody living for something, right? You have to live for something. The question for me is, how do you live your life? Now, for me, this question it transcends even the righteous struggle of freedom for the people. It goes above that. It's spiritual. It's cosmic. It's actually like a full force effort for you to understand your existence in life, right? It's the full force effort of that. For me, the struggle is about the spiritual, right? How we live our life. There's a passage that I want to share with you, Matthew chapter 16, verses 24 through 26. And this is Jesus talking, right? Jesus, the revolutionary, talking to his boys and to the people, right? He says, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Or who shall a man give in return for his soul? Oh, sorry, not. Or what shall a man give in return for his soul? Nothing is worth your soul. The way you live has to be good with your soul. And so for that reason, I think this movie suggests and it motivates me to live a sacrificial life. But here's how I want you to understand sacrificial life. A sacrificial life is not about dying. It is about living for yourself and others. It is about living for yourself and others, doing what is best for the whole. All right. So that was my big takeaway. I'm gonna finish off, just give you my ratings, and then will be done for today. Thank y'all for coming in, man. All right, so here's how I do my rating system. I got a rubric here. I base it off of the message, off of the visuals, off of the character development, off of the plot and storyline, and because I love music, off of the music. So for Judas in the Black Messiah, for the message, I give it a 4 out of 5. Right, that's my rating system out of 5. Give it a 4 out of 5. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know. Let me know your ratings as well for these things. All right. So for the message, I give it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was really, really, really a great message. I did have to kind of like, sift through it a little bit to get the message. It wasn't like spoon fed to me, but that's kind of a good thing. So actually, I think I'll probably give it even more. I'll probably give it 4.9, actually. There's a little bit of struggle, but it was good. What's up, Moises Sanchez? Oh, what's up, bro? So that was for the message. For the visuals, right? Beautifully shot. Love the sets. Love the wardrobe. Love the period piece. Love seeing the afros and the bell bottoms and the Soul Brothers stuff. I love the real life kind of grit of it. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. Only reason I didn't give it a 5 is because I really do like color. So some movies actually use color as part of their storytelling mechanisms. You can think of like, something like Sixth Sense where red was a huge color and other movies where that's it. So I really love color. But yeah. So I almost gave it the full marks there as well. Character development. Okay. Like we just talked about the acting. They killed it, man. They killed it, man. So I give it a 4.85. There's always room for development, but I thought these characters were so awesome. Then plot and storyline, which I learned is a different thing in doing my research today. Plot is what happened, and the story is like how it happened. So the plot of Judas and the Black Messiah is that an FBI informant infiltrates the Black Panther Party. And then the story is how that happened, what happened as a result of that, right? So I put all that together because I think it's all part of the story experience. So for plot and storyline, I also gave it a 4.85. Only reason I didn't give it more is because there were a lot of scenes where there was like a lot of talking and not so much action. Usually with movies, you kind of want to see a lot of action, but I like talking. So, I'm just thinking sort of balance it out, right? But 4.85. And then for the music, 5. I don't know about y'all, but if I can go get this soundtrack or listen to it on YouTube, oh, that's going to be on the playlist, man. The music was slapping from the beginning to the end, from the opening credits to the closing credits. All the movie was beautiful, was glorious. All right, so those are my ratings. My final overall, just like this is what I think of the movie. I have a really simple way of doing this. I love hats, so I did it based on like a hat motif. All right, and here's how it goes. All right, if it's a terrible movie, hat in the trash. It's trash. Like, look, I love hats. So if I throw a hat in the trash, that's a really terrible hat. All right, just trash. So I got hat in the trash. My second rating is hat on the side. Yeah, I might hang it up. I might, wear it when I go to the grocery store or something like that. Whatever. Hat to the side is But if I love it, hat on the head because I'm wearing that mug. I'm flossing with that mug. That is what it's going to be. All right. So for Judas and the Black Messiah, hat on the head all the way, every day, posing in selfies, hat on the head, bro. This movie was dope. You got to go see it. It was freaking awesome. Okay. So go check that out. Thank you all. It's been an hour. Wow. That went fast. But thank you guys. Right. I love hat. You love hats too? Yeah, hats are dope, man. So this is a hat on the head movie for me, for sure. I thank you all for spending this time with me. I know you could have been all kinds of other places, but I appreciate you coming on in here. This is my YouTube channel, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I got a whole bunch of videos. You can go check it, click the bell, comment down below, all those kind of things. Actually, one comment I do want to get from you guys, give me suggestions on other things to watch. Okay, I'm not just doing movies. I'm doing movies. I'm also doing TV series. Next one I'm thinking of doing is something I saw on Netflix. So I'm a mull over that, and I'm gonna let y'all know. But yeah, man, we're gonna keep this going. We're gonna keep these discussions going, and I want to get your feedback. Let me know if you like it. Let me know what adjustments I can make. This is the first one. Of course, you get the little awkward nervousness out and all of that stuff. But we're gonna keep doing these things, man. We're gonna keep rocking it. We're gonna keep having a good time. Y'all keep coming through. Bring some of your friends. Let them know what's good, what's going on. All right. Be blessed. Peace. Love. Good vibes. God bless. See y'all next time. Peace.